We heard from the mayor and the police commissioner today about the reduction in crime here in our fair city. They attribute that in large part to the crackdown on illegal guns, talking crime numbers that are half of what they were a year ago. Well, 1010 Wins happy to welcome NYPD Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch to the afternoon show to share more with us. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us. I'll be very, very brief. I know in the interest of time you have a busy day ahead of you. The crime number's down thanks to the removal of illegal guns off the street. There are some precincts, though, as they say, where the block is still hot. How's the progress coming along with those, and will they eventually fall in line with the overall numbers?
Yeah, so far this year, 2025, has been the safest year on record for shootings and murders in New York City history. We have been recording and measuring crime for the past 32 years, and we have never seen a January to May with such low numbers citywide for both shootings and murders.
Typically, the latest numbers come after the typically cold and less crime-filled season, though. Do you think the numbers will hold as we get into the hotter summer months? Is this seasonal, and what has to happen for those numbers to stay down, Commissioner?
I certainly do. You know, we compare January to January, February to February, but the results that we have seen in May, where we saw a 46% decline in murder, a 39% decline in shootings, those results are really extraordinary, and I attribute it all to the hard work of our cops who for the past 3 years have taken over 22,000 guns off of our streets. But in particular, as the weather is getting warmer, we have implemented our summer violence reduction plan, which has put an unprecedented number of cops on the streets, on foot posts, in the parts of the city where violence tends to occur over the summer.
Okay. We're talking about gang and gun roundups daily here on our news cycle, and many of these crimes committed and now reduced on part of certain gangs in the city, or does this include subway crimes and random neighborhood shootings? In other words, is this more of a reduction based on guns or getting rid of gangs?
No, this is a reduction both below ground in our subways and above ground on our streets and in housing developments. We're seeing these crime reductions across the board. And a lot of it is the work that this department has done over the past several years, taking guns off the street. Another component is the deployments, putting more cops on the streets in areas where it's needed the most. We call that precision policing. And I think the third big piece of it, which you've touched on, is our casework that we have really ramped up over the past several months, where we are going after gang and crew violence, which we know is related to 60% of all shootings citywide. We're very focused on gangs and crews for that reason.
Commissioner, let me ask you this. You mentioned something earlier about how young people are getting access to these ghost guns. There's been a lot of concern about that. Anything going on in tandem with the schools to crack down on that practice to keep them out of the hands of the young ones?
Yeah, we've actually seen youth violence as the one category where we have seen meaningful increases in violence. We are seeing cases where we have shooters that are 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And in 2018 in New York State, we changed the laws for the criminal justice system as they relate to youth. And in my opinion, it is time to relook at and re-examine some of those changes, because they have broadly led to a consequence-free environment for children committing crimes, which only encourages gangs to recruit kids at a younger and younger age, putting the guns in the hands of kids. And unfortunately, we know that when kids are the shooters, too often the victims are kids as well.
Okay. What's your assessment personally? You've been on the job. Has it been a year, 2 years already?
I've been on this job for 6 months. I was previously the sanitation commissioner for a few years.
Okay. What's your assessment? How's it going?
Oh, it is the greatest honor of my life to serve as police commissioner of the city of New York. I enjoy working with the 49,000 members of this department on one mission, and that is to drive public safety, and it has really been extraordinary to watch as the men and women of the NYPD have delivered such great crime numbers and great results over the past 6 months that I've been here.
And I thought it had been more than a year. I don't know if you're a Knicks fan or not, but on this show, you can expect that with the Larry Mullins. Is it a crime to fire the head coach of a team that was 2 games away from going to the NBA Finals?
Oh, I have no comment on that.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, thank you. So nice to talk with you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.